You're talented, but you're still stuck. Maybe you're just starting out and taking any project you can get, or maybe you've been freelancing for a while, but you're trapped in undercharging, referrals, and inconsistent income. Either way, you feel the dream of freelancing slipping, and the fear of going back to a job you don't want is getting louder and louder. In this video, my friend, I'm gonna give you a roadmap for you to launch and grow your web design business to 6 figures and beyond. Hello, my friend. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Adrian Somoza, former lead designer at MediaMonks, and I focus on helping talented freelance web designers grow their talent and charge what they are worth. Now, I run a mentorship program called the BONT Club. So if you want to make sure that you're designing your web design business in a way that can scale to 6 figures, I invite you to book a one-to-one strategy call with me so we can have a chat. Now, most freelancers start in the same traps, right? You offer anything to anyone, thinking more services will bring more clients. But instead, you get crickets, or you get spread thin. You spend hours posting endlessly online, sometimes even going viral, but those views don't turn into qualified leads. Or you just rely on referrals and big clients, which can work short term, but they usually keep you stuck at a certain budget and with a high risk of losing everything because you don't know when that pool of work will dry up. And let me tell you, I've seen it many times, time and time again, it will dry up, okay? And worst of all, you undercharge out of fear, negotiating down your prices, even if you reduce your scope, right? Just to land a client. Now, the truth is, right now, many of you are sitting on knowledge without action. You've learned a lot of things, right? You've even consumed YouTube videos, you've watched online courses, and even went to university and got a master's degree, right? I literally helped freelance web designers who had master's degree, and they've said that the BONT Club was their best investment in their education. Why? Because it's real life. Life doesn't reward people who know about seeds, who know about the weather, who know about the chemical reactions that make plants grow. It rewards people who do, people who go and plant the seeds, right? Seeds don't grow just because you've read about them. You have to go and plant them, okay? So here's a mindset shift for you. Be part of the top 10% who doesn't only know, but actually does. Don't make it perfect, make it exist, okay? Nicholas is a great example of this. He joined the BONT Club, my mentorship program, while living with his parents, considering getting a master's degree, and averaging around 1K per month in his business. Now, after 12 months of implementing my strategies, right, of doing what I told him to do, of planting the seeds, he got to an average of 10K per month. Was it easy? No. In his own words, it freaking hurts, but he did it anyway, and he got the results. Now, let's take a look at the steps, right, that I would take to get there. There are 3 key steps. So step number 1 is set clear goals. Being reactive in your business is almost always a bad idea. In 5 years, you will arrive. The question is, where? You know, many freelance web designers keep switching strategies too quickly, moving 1 pixel in every direction, and they never see results. So the solution is to set goals and design your future. You can face the future in 2 ways, with apprehension or with anticipation, okay? So this is about facing your future with anticipation, setting goals, okay? Decide what kind of freelancer, first of all, you want to be. Right? A contractual designer? Do you want to be a solopreneur, or do you want to build an agency, right? Each one has its pros and cons. Personally, I realized I didn't need to build an agency to reach 6 figures myself. I could do it as a solo web designer, right? While still being hands-on, hands-on in the projects which I'm very passionate about. And I could scale through expertise, pricing, and profit. Okay, so define your income goals, define your lifestyle goals, and the kind of projects that you want. For me, it would be at least 120K per year, around 6 hours of work days, right? Because if I work less, I just get depressed. I like to work, right? But I also like, having a little bit more free time and being able to do things that I love, right? And around 4 to 12 premium projects a year, right? That I can really focus, be creative about, and get them to a very high quality, award-winning type of level. Now, step 2 is design your business. As designers, we're great designing solutions to problems of others, right? Other businesses' problems. But what about designing your own business? Have you ever thought about that? Like, do you have a design for your business? Or are you just winging it? See, when you design your business in a way that can scale, you can, for example, work with 1 client a month instead of 6 or 8. That means around 12 clients a year, 10 to 20K each, let's say. And with a setup like this, basically you can work fewer hours with higher profit, right? And because you have systems in place, you can finally step away from the computer at the end of the day and just have time for yourself to spend with your loved ones and do the things that you love, right? And you will still have systems in place that work for you even when you're not there, which is basically the type of freedom that you're probably chasing after, right? So the path forward isn't really complicated, okay? It's difficult, but it's not complicated. And I honestly think it comes down to 3 simple things, okay? I call it the triple W method, okay? So let's go over this. First W is the who. Second W is the what. And third W is the when. Okay, so let's take a look at those 3 simple things. First W is the who, like I said. So this is because you need to know exactly who you're serving. If you're saying I'll do design and 3D and illustrations and social media and SEO for anyone out there who needs a website, right? Big companies and small companies, whatever size, right? You will stay invisible, okay? Maybe your who is, for example, online coaches, SaaS startups, or boutique e-commerce brands. Once you define this clearly, every message, every case study, and every conversation positions you as the obvious choice for them. High-ticket clients want to hire specialists, not generalists. They prioritize quality over price. They would rather pay a premium price and get the best quality in the least amount of time and effort for themselves than just pay commodity pricing and be delayed with the project, have problems that they need to jump and fix, hire a new designer because it didn't go as well as they planned, etc. They know the value of expertise and premium work. Second W is the what. Okay, this is the specific problem that you solve and the offer you build around it. Okay, it's not just websites, it's conversion focused websites that double your leads for your online coaching business, or brand and web designs that helps coaches sell out their programs, right? When your what is clear, you stop negotiating every little project. Instead, you have a repeatable offer that clients understand and value, right? You have a repeatable client and a repeatable offer that you can sell to them to get them to go from their challenges and their goals and where they are stuck to where they want to be, right? And the outcomes they are specifically looking for. Now, the third W is the when. This is about timing, okay? Where is your client in their journey? And why do they need you now? Maybe they just launched their business and they need a real website to look professional. Or maybe they just went the DIY route and they just want to hire someone and get it out of their heads, get it out of their shoulders. Maybe they're losing leads because their site doesn't really convert the leads that are landing on their page into calls and clients. So when you connect your offer to the urgency of their situation, sales conversations become so much easier, right? Because you're not convincing someone, you're solving a time-sensitive problem, and they see you as an expert that understands them and knows the importance of their business goals and not only just doing cosmetic design. So when you align the who, the what, and the when, you're no longer stuck. You have full clarity to build systems that consistently attract and close the right clients at the right time for the right price. Now, if this is resonating with you and you want someone to mentor you in this process, right, so that you can tackle it and not have to do so much trial and error, then book a free strategy call with me and let's have a chat. And if you're not ready for that, right, check out the resources that I'm leaving in the description, including a step-by-step roadmap written down in Notion, questions to ask in your strategy calls, and much more. Now, step 3 is get clients, okay? Sales are the oxygen of your business. If you don't have clients, your full-time job is to get the next one so that you don't suffocate, okay? That means combining outreach and marketing, reaching out directly to potential clients while also creating content and value that attracts them to you. The combination of the two will help you both now navigate the downs that every business has, while also building the longer-term pipeline constantly to make sure both the present and future are always covered for your pipeline, okay? So let's talk about attracting clients. Here's the truth. You don't need massive client case studies to prove your value. Whether your work is under NDA or you don't yet have real-world projects to show, you can still show what you're able to do through redesigns, concepts, and smaller shots. I call this the design chips, okay? Now, this is exactly how I built visibility early on, right? When I was just starting out and nobody knew me, I had 0 followers, right? And it's how many of my students have landed clients without a traditional portfolio. It's about proving you can solve problems and bring creative ideas to life, not about having the perfect set of case studies, right? We tend to think that we need to show everything. Like, let's say if you're trying to show that you can design a website, right? We tend to think that we need to show the entire website with footer and FAQ and the little button there and everything tied up. And we don't really need to show everything. We just need to show small bite pieces of what you can do, right? So when I was starting out, I focused on smaller, powerful hero concepts, right? Dribble shots of hero sections, animations, and little transitions between, for example, the hero and a detail page, or between even hero slides, right? So just changing slide in one hero, right? One module. 5 posts a week for 1 month grew my dribble from 5K to 11K followers. It got me featured in Abducido and Mastly, and even led to Apple's creative director asking about my work in an interview, okay? And these are the type of quick design chips that I used to do that, okay? So, by the way, if you would like me to do a live session on how to build a complete and effective web design portfolio in just 1 month, let me know in the comments, okay? I would love to know if enough of you are interested in that or not. Now, honestly, this is where most freelancers get stuck. Perfectionism and imposter syndrome really kick in here, and they keep them stuck in polishing their logo or picking the perfect business name or tweaking their website instead of focusing on the only thing that matters, right? Being present out there, like making your work exist out there, okay? The point is not perfection, okay? The point is showing up and making your ideas exist, making your designs exist, okay? Done is better than perfect, and the more you put your work out there, the faster you build trust and momentum for yourself and your business. Now, second thing is outreach to clients, okay? if you've been active in the platform, you'll do outreach. You've basically warmed up your clients, okay? The idea here is that if you warm your audience up, right, then reaching out to them feels much more natural. When someone gets your DM, they will not just click on a link, or they will not just, do whatever you say that you want to do, or you want them to do. They will definitely check your portfolio or your profile, okay? So if you've been posting, they see your posts, right? They see your work, they see your face, and they see some social proof. Suddenly your message will feel much more compelling to them, right? You will feel like a real human being, and they will feel the trust to respond to you. Okay. Now, if you're just a ghost on the internet with just a handle and no profile picture and no work, and you're just reaching out to them, imagine, right? Like, just to put it in perspective. So the more you show up yourself, your face, your work, the easier it's going to be for them to respond to you and trust you. Now, once you're active, start messaging people who engage with you naturally. Okay. New connections, right? Like followers, likes, and comments help a lot, because those are people who are already interested in what you're doing. So you can reach out to them and say, and keep a message short, right? Personalized and valuable. You can say like even from something generic, right? Like, hey, I noticed that you liked my work. Thank you for doing that. I'm here to answer any questions if you like. Just let me know, and I'm more than happy to help out. That could be one message that you could try out. By the way, in everything that I'm teaching you, have a scientific approach, right? So you want to test out with a batch, like let's say 10 to 20, see how it works and tweak from there, right? You don't want to send 1,000 outreach messages with the same message without any tweaks, without changes. Like, if you don't get any results, it doesn't make sense to keep hammering that nail, okay? You want to have a scientific approach and pivot, change, try things, right? Don't stick to a strategy that didn't work for you in the first 10 to 20 tries. Now, the other thing you can do is mention something specific about them and offer value upfront by, for example, inviting them to a free strategy call, right? Just offering value upfront, whatever way you can think of, right? You could do a little hero. By the way, don't just say, oh, your website looks ugly, because nobody likes to hear that, right? Or don't assume, right? One of the main things that I see designers do is just, assume that they understand what the problems are of their clients' websites, right? Without even talking with them, without even diagnosing. That is not smart, my friend. Like, that's not gonna position you as an expert, but rather as an amateur who prescribes without diagnosing, right? That's the true mark of an amateur versus a specialist or an expert, right? Think about doctors. Doctors don't prescribe before knowing what's wrong, right? They diagnose first, they do questions before prescribing a solution. So do that, right? As much as you can, do that, okay? So you don't come out as amateur. So I like the strategy call because that's a way to provide value, right? Bring clarity to their situation. And also you build relationships with them, right? And you come out as an expert who is not just saying, oh, your website is off, right? Why? How do you know? I've seen websites that are very simple and they do wonders, right? And so you don't really know if the website is off or is actually not a problem for them and they won't resonate with what you're saying. So coming off as diagnosing first is the best way, I think, to not be offensive, not be an amateur, and actually be of service to people, okay? Okay, now at this point, you might be thinking, well, but Adrian, I don't really want to templatize my services. I don't want to pick one client, one offer, and just do templates and sell templates. Well, that's not the idea, my friend. The idea is that when you pick a client, you pick an offer, and you understand when in the buying journey of the client they really need your services, right? And it makes sense for them to invest in a high ticket project. Then you can systemize your business so that you can elevate the quality of the parts that need your creativity and your thought behind. Okay, so meaning, right, you're not gonna templatize the art direction, you're not gonna templatize the animations, the interactions, the storytelling, right? Because those are the things that really need to be unique from project to project to get to a high quality. Okay, so you're not going to be templatizing everything, you're just going to be templatizing what doesn't need to be reinvented every time: the process, the scope, the price, the offer, the KPIs of your clients, like many things that if you have a clear who, a what, and a when, it's going to be crystal clear and very easy to systemize. Okay, now a lot of designers believe that the market is too saturated and that AI will take over, and they're afraid that AI will replace them. Well, my friend, it is true that if you stay at a very low quality level, AI will replace you. Like, AI is raising the bar of what we can do, right? So clients can now do even better designs than some templates out there, right? Than some designers out there. And so that pushes us to say, okay, we need to really elevate the quality of our work, for sure. But at the same time, my friend, like, that has always been the case. Like, think about it. Anyone can speak, right? But very few people can speak like a leader. Anyone can walk, but very few people can run a marathon and win, right? What's the difference between those two? Well, the difference is the mastery in the skill. It's not just the skill, it's the mastery that you can get to in that skill. So, of course, you will have to elevate the quality of your designs. And I really want to encourage you, think about that, right? If you want to be a designer, you cannot take your career as a bet that you're going to lay on, right? Oh, I just learned how to do a simple website, that's it, I'm done for life, right? That's never going to happen in any career, right? Especially if you want to do like a six-figure business, right? So having said that, I feel that after the pandemic, right, businesses rushed to get online, and they started to realize the importance of being present online to be able to sell. Some for the necessity, some because they saw the opportunity, right? Many things started to become digitalized, right? That weren't digitalized pre-pandemic. And so that means that more businesses and business owners out there tried the DIY route already, okay? They tasted what it feels like to have a website. They've seen some results, and they're now at a point where they are realizing they need a better one, right? They need someone to hire to fix the problems that they have, take it off their shoulders, and build something that is really premium at the level of the business they have, right? And that's when you come into place, right? So I think this is a great moment in history to be a web designer, but only if you're willing to serve others at a high level, right? If you're just willing to learn the basics and then lay down in your bed and that's it, then of course you're going to struggle all your life with that. But this means that you're not competing with AI or $200 websites. You're positioning yourself as the designer who can create something strategic, premium, and results driven, okay? That's why so many BONT Club members are now charging 5K, 10K, and even 15K plus per project. The demand is here, okay? But only if you learn to position yourself correctly, okay? Now, if this resonates with you, and like I said, you're ready to step out of that vicious cycle or avoid it altogether, I want to invite you to book a one-to-one strategy call with me. You don't have to do this alone, my friend, okay? Others inside the BONT Club have done it, and so can you. But if you're still not ready for that step, I totally understand. You might want to check out the resources that I'm leaving in the description, okay? Including my step-by-step roadmap in Notion, questions to ask in your strategy calls, and much more. My friend, that's it for today. I hope you found it valuable, and as always, let's bridge the gap one pixel at a time.